He took my wedding ring and gave it to his mistress, so I took everything else. I never thought I'd be the kind of woman who'd dig through her husband's dresser drawer, but that's exactly where I found the truth buried under a pile of socks and excuses. My name's Emily Carter, I'm 34, and I live in Dallas, Texas. I wasn't snooping. Well, not exactly. I was cleaning. But when something inside you starts whispering, check the drawer. You listen, especially when your husband's been working late every night for 3 weeks. We'd been married for 8 years, nothing fancy, just your average suburban love story, 2 cars, a golden retriever, and a mortgage. But recently, Mark had turned into a ghost with Wi-Fi. He'd come home smelling like cologne I didn't wear and humming songs I didn't know. That night, he came home late again, tossed his jacket over the chair, and muttered something about a client dinner, but I noticed his wedding ring wasn't on his finger. I waited until he left for work the next morning before I started looking. I opened his top drawer, socks, receipts, a watch box, and then I saw it, my wedding ring. But it wasn't the one he gave me on our wedding day. This one had a different diamond, slightly bigger, same band design. My stomach dropped. He'd replaced my ring. My hands shook as I checked his email on the laptop he conveniently left open. That's when I saw a thread of messages to someone named Lydia. He called her baby. He told her he'd found the perfect ring for her and couldn't wait to see it on her finger. I clicked the photo attached. It was my ring. The ring I'd worn for years. The one he'd promised to love me with, now shining on another woman's hand. I didn't cry, not yet. Instead, something cold and sharp settled in my chest. You know that moment when heartbreak turns into clarity? Yeah, that. I didn't want revenge at first, I wanted understanding. But after reading that he'd taken her to the same restaurant where he proposed to me, revenge sounded sweeter than forgiveness. So I made a plan. Mark was a financial advisor, organized, methodical, predictable. He'd never expect me to fight back with his own playbook. I logged into our shared accounts, the ones he thought I didn't know about. Turns out, my faithful husband had been funding Lydia's apartment, car, and a new wardrobe. Cute, right? So, I transferred everything, joint savings, stocks, even the secret rainy day fund he hid under a fake business name, into an account under my name. Then I called my cousin Jake, who happens to be a lawyer. The next day, I packed my things while Mark was still at work. I left the house key on the kitchen counter beside a sticky note that said, "You took my ring, I took everything else, fair trade." By the time he got home, I was gone. So was the furniture, the savings, and every trace of the woman who used to beg him to stay. Jake helped me file for divorce that same week. Mark tried calling, texting, even showing up at my office, but I didn't respond. The last time I saw him, he looked broken, like a man who realized too late that some things can't be replaced, not even with a bigger diamond. A month later, Lydia reached out to me on Instagram. Apparently, he'd dumped her after I cleaned him out. She said, "I think he still loves you." I laughed. "No," I told her, "he just misses the money." Now, every time I glance at my bare ring finger, I smile. It's not a reminder of loss, it's proof I survived a man who mistook loyalty for weakness. And the best part? I used that money to start my own event planning business. Last month, I organized my first wedding. Watching the bride walk down the aisle, I realized something: losing Mark wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning of a better one. Would you have done the same thing I did, or would you have confronted him before taking revenge? Tell me in the comments.